From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Use the code BASH10 for 10% off your order. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. At the Embassy Diner, mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. By the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400. Tell him Sports Bash sent you. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. The third annual Evening of Thanks Gala is coming up November 14th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to another edition of Sports Bash. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you subscribe to Govs Comedy Club podcast on YouTube so you can get reminders about shows and also be able to comment along the way. Coming up on the show, I'll be joined by Jimmy O'Brien. If you don't know the name, you'll know that he's Jomboy Media, and he's going to join us on the show. A great opportunity to speak to him about the World Series with the Yankees and Dodgers getting underway tomorrow. We're also going to be joined by Stony Brook head football coach Billy Cosh. The 24th ranked Seawolves face William and Mary Saturday in the homecoming game. And also, during that interview, we're going to be giving away 4 tickets for the Stony Brook homecoming game on Saturday. So you want to stay tuned for that. Whiz Kid Vinny Laspinuso is with me on this Thursday. We're going to play Stump the Whiz later on. If we picked your question and you stump him like he was stumped last week, which is not, doesn't happen all the time, but if you do stump him and we picked your question, you're going to get 2 tickets to the Islanders and the Ducks October the 29th at UBS Arena, and hopefully by that point the Islanders will figure out how to start scoring some goals again. Hopefully that will happen at that point. Vinny Tickets from TicketBash.com is going to check in to talk about the latest ticket news. So that's all coming up on the show. We'll have the Sports Bash Media poll question. We'll have This Week in Sports History. This segment is presented by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. I wanted to start the show off by tying up a couple of loose ends from the last couple of days. First of all, you'll notice I got a haircut today. So I wanted to come in and show off the new haircut so that everybody can see. I love Pat's haircuts here in Levittown. Wink, wink. Maybe a sponsor someday. We'll see. But a great job. So I'm just going to take off the headphones for just a minute. Wanted to show off the haircut, but it is the eve of the World Series. So I did want to make sure that we do, of course, include the Yankees in the show today. So I did wear the Yankee hat, but I wanted to make sure everybody saw the new haircut, which I'm very, very happy and proud of. Next order of business before we get into anything else that's sports related. And this goes back to Tony's show, Tony Walker, our producer, and also the host of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show here on Governor's Comedy Podcast every Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock. So yesterday I'm doing some work at home. I'm like, you know what? Let me put on Tony's show. I pop on Tony's show. He's got Mike with him yesterday on the program. And as I am watching the show, they start talking about Dr. Brown's celery soda. And it caught my attention because at every, I can't say every Jewish family, but every one of our family get-togethers over the years, we always made sure that there was celery soda. For me, I like it. My father liked it, so I got that from him. And so we always have the soda. And my Uncle Alan likes it. So wanted to make sure that we got celery soda. So when I heard this, I said, you know what? I am going to bring in Dr. Brown's celery soda. And it's right here in front of me. So, Tony, if you're ready, I promised you that I was going to give you a taste of the celery soda. Do you want a cup with some ice, or do you want to drink it right out of the can?
I will. I'll take a cup with ice.
You take a cup with ice. So here,
Yeah.
my wife Cheryl sent me with cups. Let's see. We got a little canteen here with some. Here you go. You don't see this on every sports talk show. You really don't.
This is riveting stuff, right?
I had to make sure because the picture was painted that it's disgusting, and I think a lot of people do think it's disgusting. I'm not going to give you the whole thing. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna take one for myself. Wiz, do you want to try it also?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I don't drink soda a lot, but
Well, that's my issue. I hate soda. I hate all soda. So this is a big deal. I don't do this for just anybody,
Right.
Pete. I'll have you know.
Good. Hold on one second. I got to get it. Oh, hold on one second. Here we go. Let's do this.
you'd think if it's green, I never had it, but whenever it's by walking down the aisle of the grocery store, I always thought that was like their version of Sprite or something like that. But it's actually celery.
It is. It's got a celery taste to it. I got to get another can because I know I'm going to drink the whole thing.
like they take the celery, they just put it in a juicer, and this stuff comes out.
I'm not, Wiz, to be honest with you, I am not sure how they make it. But all I know is that it's heavenly. All right? And so let's, in honor of the Schwartz family Jewish holiday tradition, L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And to the Yankees in the World Series. L'chaim.
L'chaim, is that right?
Oh, it's great. Tony, what do you think?
I actually like that.
Feel free to finish mine.
I'm not gonna lie. That's actually very refreshing.
It is. It is a great.
I like it. I really do.
Gotta go to the.
It's my fire hydrant of water right here.
If anybody from Dr. Brown's is watching, please don't. No disrespect is meant from Tony. It's definitely a delicacy.
Definitely has more of an acquired taste, though.
It does. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. Well, now I got the whole six-pack to myself. Fantastic. Let's get rid of this.
You definitely do taste the more like the celery taste of it.
I'm going to get rid of the rest of it because I don't want anybody to steal it. Not that anybody's going to steal it. And I'm going to enjoy this for the rest of... Wiz, feel free to take another can if you'd like.
Thanks,
okay?
I appreciate it.
So now that we got all that business out of the way, and we wanted to make sure that was all tied up from yesterday, back to sports. And obviously the big story around here is the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series starting tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. Games 1 and 2 will be in L.A. on tomorrow night and Saturday night, then a day off Sunday. And then the scene shifts to Yankee Stadium for games 3 and 4, game 5 if necessary, back to L.A. if necessary for 6 and 7. And we'll talk about the actual, X's and O's, blood and guts of the playoffs with Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy in just about 6 minutes from now. But obviously the huge story, and this is something we'll cover with Vinny Tickets from TicketBash.com later in the show, the ticket prices for all 7 games start with the number 1, and it's not 100. It starts with 1,000. And it has become the most expensive World Series ticket on the secondary market in history. It has surpassed the Cubs and Indians. And remember, Cubs and Indians, you don't see that all the time in the World Series. And that was the year the Cubs broke their long drought, World Series drought. But just think about, and listen, if you could afford these tickets, and I'm not crying poverty, but if you could afford these tickets to go to the playoffs, to go to the World Series, God bless you. And I said this, and I don't know if anybody believes me. I think my wife believes me because I told this to her yesterday in the car. If I had all the money in the world, if we had all the money in the world, I don't think I could enjoy going to a game that I paid over $1,000 for a ticket. And I don't care how much money you have. I mean, to me, it's if you're telling me I'm going to the Super Bowl, obviously that's the single biggest sporting event. People will argue the World Cup. I'll say here in North America, the single biggest sporting event on the planet is the Super Bowl. Now, if you're telling me, pray to God, this is never going to happen, but I'll pray to God anyway. If the Jets ever made it to the Super Bowl and you're telling me I can get a ticket and the tickets are over $1,000, I still am not sure I'm spending that money. Even if I had the money to spend, I'm not sure I'm spending $1,000 to go to a game. I mean, it's a game. And I don't want to sound like I'm pouring water over it. If you have the ability to go and you want to do it, I don't tell anybody what to do with their money. I've told one of my best friends in the world had Jet season tickets for years. And all he would do on Mondays is call me up and sit and complain about this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, don't do it. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but like, if it's causing you that much grief, don't do it. So I'm not telling people what to do with their money. I'm just saying I think it's an obscene amount of money to watch a sporting event. That's just my opinion. I have a friend of mine who's going to the game on Tuesday, Game 4. He has a friend who has a Yankees mini plan. And I guess what they've done, even Ticketmaster, because these prices were set by Ticketmaster. If you don't have any kind of mini plan, like that's where they're gouging the people on the tickets. Because my friend is going in the upper deck on Tuesday night for Game 4 through his friend who has a 41-game plan. Tickets in the 400 level of Yankee Stadium was $182. Now, if you came to me and said, Pete, you can go to games 3, 4, or 5, $182 in the upper deck, where do I sign up for that? Because to me, that's a fair amount of money to charge for a marquee sporting event like that. I would do the $182. I'm surrounded by Met fans in here. If you got to go to a Met World Series game for $182, would you do it, Tony?
Yeah.
He's nodding as he's eating. Wiz, you would do it? Yes?
Depends on the game, but yeah, I probably.
So $182, I think, is a fair amount for something like that. But again, to each his own or her own. And I just hope the Yankees win 4 before the Dodgers do. I'm looking forward to enjoying the games on television, and we'll see what happens. When we come back on the show, we're going to talk more about the World Series. We're going to be welcomed by Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy Media. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other things Jomboy Media are up to these days. That is when Sports Bash returns here from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our... Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz. This segment of Sports Bash presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Welcome back inside our studios here at Governor Comedy Club Podcast at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy Media is going to join us in a couple of minutes. He's just running a couple of minutes late, and in about 15 minutes or so, we're going to be joined by the head football coach at Stony Brook here on Long Island, Billy Cosh, who has done an absolutely remarkable job in his first year as head coach at Stony Brook. They are 5-2. They are ranked 24th in 1AA schools by the coaches poll, and just a tremendous job. But before we get to that, it's time to talk about the Yankees and the Dodgers and the World Series starting tomorrow, and a guy that has been all over the Yankees and has built himself into a media empire with Jomboy Media. And, of course, a very popular Talkin' Yanks podcast that you can catch. And he's got his hands in a whole bunch of other different projects. And we want to welcome to the show Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy Media. Jimmy, it's Peter. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us on the show. You got to be pumped up to see the Yankees back in the World Series. You have built your company. Anybody who's a Yankee fan follows everything that you're doing. And now you have sports fans all over the world that are following everything that you're doing. But from a Yankees perspective, to see the Yankees back in the World Series, how excited are you?
I'm very excited. And when it happened, which I thought was going to happen, I thought they would beat the Guardians. Even that game towards the end, I wasn't as on pins and needles as usual. And then when it was final, I got more emotional than I thought I was going to get. It's a special feeling. Sports fandom is a very odd thing, and man, you follow a team for so long and you invest so much energy and emotional energy, and to see it, just, I don't know, get rewarded is a weird term. We didn't do anything as fans, but we sure feel like we did.
Yeah.
And it was special, man. I just, it's such a family thing. So I think back my dad and my mom and my grandma, and just, we all, watch games together for so long. So when they got to and especially our community that we've built, that's been with us the whole way. And now to get to share it with them and be part of this journey, and it just goes on, is really special. I was more emotional than I thought.
Are you overwhelmed with the success and the notoriety of the Talkin' Yanks podcast and just everything you've done in general in building up your company to where it is now? Has it been overwhelming for you?
No, it's really, because we don't perform in front of an audience, just me and a camera. So you don't really see the audience that much. So it just happens. I don't know. We've just been so lucky that our community that we've built has followed us and allows us to do new things and grow. And there was one time we went to a Yankees game and it got a rain delay of like 2 hours, and we stayed. And if you think about the Yankees fans that are going to stay throughout a 2-hour rain delay, the casual fans leave and the diehards stay. And all of a sudden, Jake and I, for the first time, were like, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. There's 200 people all converged because we were sending videos out to find us and scream at us and say hi. And I was like, that was the only time it felt like, oh, damn, we're celebrities. And, it's a very specific situation there. And that was like, oh, man, this is overwhelming. But other than that, our audience is awesome. Our community is really welcoming. It more feels like I'm talking to friends nonstop.
the moment for me, I mean, I knew of you, I knew of the company just from following along on social media, but do you think the point where it exploded was when the Aaron Boone Savages in the Box, when you were able to pull that audio clearer? Was that for you the tipping point of where the company kind of, you really realized that you were there, or was there another moment when you realized, hey, we've got something here?
That was the first one that was really big because it put spikes in a lot of different departments that we had been building at that point. So that grew our social following. It grew the YouTube. It grew recognition. The Fan had me on. A bunch of radio stations had me on. ESPN had me on. There's articles about it. It put us on like Aaron Boone's radar and some players' radar. And then our merch sales went crazy. So there had been other videos that had done well and gone viral or done good, but they didn't come with the rest. They didn't grow other avenues of what we were building and trying to build. And that was the first one where, like, you looked at any of our charts, it went up. And then we were able to we always said our best ability is taking that spike and turning it into a plateau. So it doesn't just be a one-off thing. Like, because we were every day with our content and our podcast and our coverage, it was like, hey, found out about us. Well, tomorrow, next day, the next day, we got more for you. And people latched on and stayed and became, vital members of our community and helped us turn the next spike into a plateau as well.
Our guest is Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy Media. They do an unbelievable job with their coverage as the Yankees and the Dodgers get ready to start the World Series on Friday in L.A. Let's talk about the World Series. I think you mentioned before the emotion of seeing the Yankees get back to the Fall Classic, and now they've got to get the job done against a really good Dodgers team. When you look at this, when you break this series down, how do you look at the Yankees' chances against the Dodgers?
I think it's going to be tough. I think the Yankees can win a close series. I think they can lose a not close series if some things don't fall the right way. The Dodgers are really deep. Their lineup, the Dodgers lineup, is deeper than the Guardians and the Royals in a long shot. So the starting pitcher, Cole and Rodon, are going to have to get deep. We're not going to be able to depend on our bullpen, and they pitch around guys to get to the next. It's not available against the Dodgers. So I think the Yankees can be in it. I think they can win a close series. I think that they have star power. If Judge can get going and stands behind him, that's going to be an incredible recipe to pound him on. And if Glaber can continue to get on base, and then they got to go Soto, Judge, Stanton. That's really tough. If their pitchers can get through that, it might be an easier series for the Dodgers.
And I do think the Yankee bullpen will play obviously a huge factor. I think the bullpen, except for the little hiccup in Game 3 against the Guardians, I think the Yankees bullpen is going to be a big factor in this series because it just seems like everybody now has their roles established. And I think if, as you mentioned, to your point, if those starters can go deep into the game, especially the first two, Cole and Rodon, I think that Yankee bullpen will play a huge factor in the series.
I agree. I'm a little worried about overexposure, and you might see Boone have to deal with a loss the way the Roberts did for the Dodgers when they were down against the Mets. He said, I'm not going to use my good bullpen here to try and get back into this game. The offense is going to have to out-hit our B pen. The Yankees didn't do that. They really used their top guys a lot in the guard series, and if it went deeper, I think it would have come back to bite him a little bit. So I think you might see Stroman just come out, and he gets 3 innings when they're down 3, and he's got to hold it until the offense gets the lead. And Yankee fans aren't going to like that, but that is the nature of having a shallow bullpen and needing to make sure they're not overexposed.
Jimmy, how happy are you for Aaron Boone getting to the World Series? You guys have him on Talking Yanks every week. In fact, it's been a go-to place to get Yankee news before he talks to the beat reporters before games. There have been some times where you guys even broke Yankee news by having him on the podcast. What's your relationship been like with him? I know there were a couple of arguments back and forth with some things you brought up, but how has that relationship grown, and how happy are you for him to get to the World Series?
Well, as far as the relationship, it's great. Booney's awesome. As a guy, as a person, he never tells us there's an off limits question. He never cares because he can spin his way out of any question if he doesn't want to answer it, as we've all seen. So it's really up to us to ask questions in a way we think we'll get a conversation. And that's where it's different than being on the beat is they ask one question and then he answers, then you got to move to the next guy where we get to follow up and be like, wait, what do you mean? Or can you expand on that? So I'm very glad that he has got them to the World Series, that he pulled a lot of the right moves. Partially because that means the Yankees go to the World Series, which makes me happy. And the other one, he was happy to come on the show. He wasn't obligated to come on in a playoff run. And if they had lost, I think we email him and he says no. But we said, hey, you want to come on and celebrate a little? And he did. So that was very cool to have access to the manager before the World Series.
Oh, no question. I wanted to ask you about something non-Yankees related. I know that Jomboy Media, as much as people who are around the Yankees and root for the Yankees think that it's just all about the Yankees, it's not. You do a lot of different things with Jomboy Media, and I know you're very excited about the new season of Warehouse Games, Blitzball. Battle 5 is premiering on YouTube on November 4th. For those who are not familiar with that show, tell everybody about it and how excited you are for the new season.
So we took in a warehouse in Jersey City. It was a carpet factory, and we turned it into our sports heaven. And basically, if you ever grew up playing baseball or football on a makeshift field in your backyard with your neighborhood friends, that's what we've built. And then we put professional cameras and production around it with Chris Rose does the play-by-play. We have sideline reporters. So it's a reality show meets unscripted sports, but it's very ridiculous. It's, we're playing these made-up games with made-up rules. But I think people really like it because it taps into what if professional sports were what we did in the backyard. And, we're not professionals. We're not the best at what we're doing, but it's entertaining. And all the players are mic'd up, so you hear the drama. It's kind of sports with access, and I grew up on reality TV and sports, and I'm just blending those worlds. So we debut the first game November 4th. I play in the first one, my team, and we're in need of a big redemption arc. So I need a lot of support. If anyone wants to come in, we've not only lost, but we've embarrassed ourselves over and over and over again. So we're looking to right the ship.
Well, good luck with that. Good luck with the show. And, congratulations on all the success with Jomboy Media. On behalf of everybody here at Sports Bash, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join us here on the show. And let's have a good World Series. And hopefully the next time we're talking, I'll see you at the parade and the Yankees are world champions for the 28th time.
That sounds beautiful to me. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. That's Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy Media. They do an unbelievable job with all of their breakdowns and their Yankee coverage. And if you're a Yankee fan and you're not watching that Talkin' Yanks podcast, you're missing out because they do a wonderful job. That was a great guest, and we're so happy to have him on the program. When we come back, we're going to switch gears to college football, and we're going to talk to the head football coach at Stony Brook University, Billy Cosh. The 5-2 Seawolves are making news here on Long Island. When we come back on Sports Bash, we'll welcome in the head coach at Stony Brook, Billy Cosh. We're coming right back after this. Fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. We welcome you back with a little Billy Joel No Man's Land. And there was a while, and there's a lot of different connotations about Long Island with that song No Man's Land. And there were a number of years where when you were talking about Stony Brook football, they were kind of in no man's land and having a hard time winning football games, but that is not the case anymore because we're in a new era of Stony Brook Seawolves football with a new head coach this year. He is Billy Cosh, and he has the Seawolves off to an amazing 5-2 start and ranked 24th in the coaches poll in 1AA football. And we welcome back to the show Billy Cosh, the head coach at Stony Brook. Billy, it's Peter. How are you?
Good to see you guys, man. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks again for coming on board. Let me start here because when we spoke last time on our old show, you had just gotten the job and you had kind of laid out your plans for building the program back up and making sure that you kept some of Long Island's top players home and just creating a new attitude and a new culture. Are you surprised at all how quickly you were able to do that and get the Seawolves to this point so quickly and so successfully?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, when I first started, it was definitely a challenge. We had a lot of things we had to change to get better at. That's why we coach. That's why we do the things we do. But credit to the players. They bought in quickly, and they started seeing some results. Even in just a winter workout, spring and summer, through fall camp, and now we just continue to work on that process. And it's all a credit to the guys, the players, and our staff. We're all speaking the same message. The guys obviously make it come to life by how they work and how they do things. But obviously, at this moment right now, very proud so far. We got a lot ahead of us here through this stretch of CAA play, but really proud just at the start of our guys. We've really come a long way. We still got a long way to go, which is great about coaching, that chase. Everybody talks about the chase, and we're always chasing. We're always chasing, and with this week with William & Mary, it's a huge chase. So, but proud to start. It's definitely been a challenge, but our guys have really rose to the occasion so far.
Yeah, it's the first time you're playing William & Mary in the homecoming game on Saturday. It's the first time in over 5 years that there's a top 25 college football matchup here on Long Island. It is a tough game against William & Mary. It's a 3:30 kickoff at Laval Stadium on homecoming day. It's a readout. We're giving away 4 tickets for that game. So we're going to take the first caller right now at 516-465-3990. 4 tickets for the game on Saturday. And Billy, when you're redoing a program and you're trying to get the team from where they were in previous years to where you are now as a winning team, sometimes it could take a little while to build up the excitement from the student body on campus. And I'm just wondering, what's been the response from the students on campus? Because obviously they're a huge part of the program, the success. You want their support out there at Laval Stadium. What's been the response you've received from the student body, and how important will they be to the program going forward?
Oh, absolutely instrumental, but I go to our players. I just ask them sometimes, when you go to class and you're going around campus, and more people are obviously talking to the guys now. They're excited about what we're doing, and that's a credit to the guys. They feel that excitement, that energy from the supporting cast of the student body. So we definitely have felt that a little bit, especially this game. There's been things on campus this week, different events that we've had on campus. I spoke to on an event yesterday on campus, trying to get the students and student body involved in the game on Saturday at 3:30, like you said, and they're excited. So. Obviously, winning some games helps that whole cause. That definitely does help. But definitely, I think the players feel it more importantly. That's what I'm most excited for. They deserve that. They work hard. They do things right, go to class, try to be good citizens and good players. So those guys deserve it. And I think they deserve that moment this weekend. And we'll hopefully have a big crowd this weekend. Should be a good day.
And one player that definitely deserves the accolades and the response from the student body and anybody who's associated with Stony Brook is the CAA Offensive Player of the Week, and that is your quarterback, Tyler Knoop. Had a great game against Towson, 34 of 40 for 287 yards, and a program record 387 yards in that win at Towson. So how important has he been, obviously, to the team, and how impressive has he been to you?
Yeah, it's a cool story. He started out starting for us, and then we played Malachi Marshall there for a few games, did a good job, and Malachi got banged up. I think it happens in football sometimes. And Tyler played versus Villanova and played competitively. And then we had the bye week, and he stepped in and started again versus Towson and did a great job. Did a really good job. He prepares the right way. And I brought up last week versus Towson, to the team, he wasn't starting there for a little bit. Obviously he's a competitor like any of us. He wanted to play, but he was such a great teammate during that time. He could have shut it down, but he didn't. He kept working like a starter, and he got his moment, and obviously did a great job, and does a good job running the show. He's got a big test this week with William and Mary and their defense and what they do, but really proud of them. Guys played a lot of football at Georgetown, now coming here, done a good job managing the show, and we'll continue to get better week by week.
We're talking to Stony Brook head football coach Billy Cosh here on Sports Bash. Stony Brook 5-2, ranked 24 in the coaches poll, heading into their homecoming game this Saturday against William and Mary, a 3:30 kickoff at Laval Stadium. And one of the things that we talked about, and one of the reasons I know you brought up in your introductory press conference about why you came to Stony Brook were the facilities at Stony Brook, and that's so important to any football program. And it's probably been a hidden gem what Stony Brook has had out there at Laval and all the other facilities athletically that Stony Brook has had over the years. And has it been what you expected? And how cool is it to run onto that field at Laval every week?
It was cool. I mean, especially like Stonehill game week 2, our first home game. It's my first time really being a head coach at home. I'm running out there. I'm running the team out. And usually I'm a coordinator. I'm in the box, ready to call plays and just thinking about the game. I'm actually running that team out. It was awesome. It was like, this is my team. I'm rolling. Here we go. So, but obviously it's been a great setup here. We got great facilities. We got everything you need here, but more importantly, it's the people. We got great people here. From our administration, our AD is so supportive of us and what we're doing in football. That's a big reason why I wanted to come here, because I knew that he liked football and he wanted us to do well. And we got all the things that we need. Our stadium, state of the art. It's awesome. Not having a track around our stadium is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Things like that level, you're very appreciative of. And I'm just appreciative of what we have. But more importantly, the people, Peter. We got great people, and that makes a place, as you know, not to be corny, man, but that really separates people and separates places to people, in my humble opinion.
The response from the Long Island football community. I know that was very important to you when you took the job. There's so many great high school football players on Long Island, and there's a bunch of them that have chosen to go somewhere else to go play college football. And I know that was one of your things that you wanted to talk about, to try and keep some of those players home. What's been the response to what Stony Brook has been doing, what you have been doing from the Long Island football community?
Absolutely. We've had some events here. In the summer we had a Three Villages youth camp here. That was huge. We had a lot of kids come to camp. They come watch our games. They're out there on Saturdays. And just an example for us, Sebastian Regis is a defensive lineman for us. That's from the local area here, and he's been tremendous for us. I got the job, kind of December there, and you really had your second signing date in February. And I got his film sent to me. I'm like, who is this kid? This kid's really good, man. He's disruptive. He's a wrestler. And I met him and his mom and dad, and I was just like, this guy's awesome. His family was, good people, low maintenance, just wanted to work, want to be a part of a team. This is the kind of guy you build with, you know what I mean? And he's been great, along with other guys we have on our roster. So he's just one example, a guy that was under-recruited, just to be honest with you, Peter, very under-recruited as far as, other colleges across the country, across the area. And we're lucky to have him. We're very lucky to have him because he's a great teammate and a great worker and a great player. So we're trying to build that more and more each year.
No question about it. Thank you so much, Billy, for spending a few minutes with me on the show. Congratulations on the unbelievable success so far. Good luck the rest of the way. Don't forget William and Mary, homecoming game, Stony Brook and William and Mary, Saturday, 3:30 at Laval. I wish I could be there. I'd like to try to get to a game, but I've been busy running around with my family watching Bradley playing for WestCon. So I'm going to try to get to a game before the end of the season, but hopefully if I'll be able to do that. But irregardless of that, best of luck the rest of the way.
Always welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Billy Cosh, the head football coach at Stony Brook. They have done an unbelievable job turning that program around to a 5-2 start to the season, ranked 24th, Division I FCS by the American Football Coaches Association. First time Stony Brook has been ranked in football since 2019, so hopefully they can pack Laval Stadium on Saturday at 3:30 for that readout in the homecoming game. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention back to the World Series, but more specifically, World Series ticket prices. And we have the best possible person to do that. He's one of the guys who pays the bills around here. He is the CEO of TicketBash.com. He is Vinny Tickets. When we come back, we'll talk to Vinny. We've got Stump the Wiz coming up. Wiz is getting ready. We've got a really good question. Tony's getting ready with the clock and the music. All kinds of other stuff coming up when Sports Bash returns right after this.
And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door...
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast on YouTube so you can get alerts for new shows and also be able to comment along the way on the Governor Comedy Club podcast YouTube page. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Use the code BASH10 for 10% off your order. Yankees and Dodgers getting ready for the World Series. It is already the most expensive ticket on the secondary market in World Series history. No better person to talk about it right now than the CEO of TicketBash.com. He is Vinny Tickets. Vinny, welcome back to the program.
Hello, Peter. How are you today?
Doing great. Well, before we get into the ticket prices, by the way, you're welcome for the nice exposure TicketBash.com got on WFAN this morning.
Yeah, it was a gift from God, Peter. A gift from Peter.
Well,
Thank you, Peter.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, so they were talking about, and you know Boomer and Gio, they're the kind of goofballs when it comes to like exaggerating a subject matter, and I just happened to put it on when they were talking about the prices for the World Series tickets. And they were kind of, and I don't know if you wound up seeing this or hearing about it, but you know, there's a stereotype that some people have about ticket brokers. Some of them are warranted, some of them, like yourself, not warranted, but they were kind of like, you know, mocking people, you know, who sell tickets, and people were talking about, like, you know, issues of getting tickets. So I had heard enough of it, and I wanted to stick up for my guy. So I texted Gio and said, hey, listen, just tell everybody to get their tickets at TicketBash.com. There's no problem. Use the code BASH10, get 10% off. There's no fees. And that's where that whole thing elevated to the point where they kind of gave you a nice commercial there on Boomer and Gio this morning.
They did. That was a fantastic plug. So
yeah,
thanks Boomer and Gio, because I know you'll watch our show as well. So thanks, Boomer and Gio. If you guys want to go to the game, I heard you're having trouble getting tickets too. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. You're a friend of Peter's. You're a friend of mine. So.
Yeah, and they got deeper pockets than I do. So I mean, they shouldn't have a problem. To that point, let's talk about the prices, because it's been it's been news all over. It doesn't matter if you're listening to local sports radio here in New York, if you're watching the Today Show or any of the national shows, it has been a huge topic of conversation how expensive the tickets have gotten. It's already the most expensive World Series ticket on record on the secondary market. Your thoughts on that? I don't know if you're surprised or not, but your thoughts on where the market is now, where you think it's going to go before Game 1 tomorrow, maybe Game 3 in New York on Monday, and where is that range right now?
Yeah. So let's start off with, and this will bring us all back to high school, if you will. So, your very first economics class, I think every one of us have learned in economics that it's all about supply and demand. So when the supply is limited and the demand is high, remember that there's a finite number of tickets in any building that you could purchase. So you have a finite product. It's not unlimited. It's not like they can go back to the warehouse and create more. So there's a finite product that we're offering here, number one. And number two, it has been a very long time, about 15 years, I think it is, right, Peter?
Mm-hmm.
We've been there. It's been about 15 years is number two since the Yankees have been here. So if you take those two things and you combine them together, it only makes sense to see the prices the way they are right now. Now, the great thing about our service and our company is that when you talk about, all day long, people will say, well, what's your cheapest ticket? What's your cheapest ticket? What's your cheapest ticket? So all day long, we have tickets at $1,400, seats to sit in the building at $1,400, not $1,400. And then you add the fees, you're at $1,700 or $1,800. So $1,400 all in, comparatively speaking. Now, for me personally, contrary to what many people believe, I've had a lot of people message me, oh, I guess you're getting a new kitchen this year. Oh, you should stop shopping for a new car. And it's actually the opposite of that. So when there's these very, very high prices for any event, it really limits the number of people that could attend. I should have, literally where my phones, although they are ringing off the hook, and our text-to-ticket service and our website is, we're getting orders all day long. However, with a very high-priced event, it's not as good as you would think for people in the industry because there's so few buyers that are willing to pay $1,500, $1,700 to go to a baseball game. Albeit the World Series, albeit you are creating memories for you, your family, your friends, your business associates. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It really is. So with my shameless plug is to go to ticketbash.com. You can enter the code BASH10. That's BASH, the number 10. And not only does our price not go up when you enter that code, but the price will go down by 10%.
So the market is set to where it is on the secondary market. We've talked about the issues that you as a broker have had with Ticketmaster over the years, and they have done some, no question about it, some unscrupulous things with the way that they've put tickets on sale. But I don't think that they are the people that need to be ripped on here, because this is just the market where it is right now. I mean, if people are going to spend that amount of money, I mean, that's where they set the prices on the tickets when they went on sale. And I know in recent years, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, has kind of said, well, maybe the World Series ticket prices in the past were kind of undervalued and that they should be in line with where the Super Bowl tickets have been, because if you consider if it's the top event that baseball puts on and the Super Bowl is the top event that football puts on, then why shouldn't those ticket prices be, aligned? Is that something that you agree with, or should they still have done something, at least with the initial ticket prices, that would make it easier for a lot more people to go?
Well, it's a good question, Peter. The reality of it is that, first of all, it's not a Super Bowl. It's not the NFL, number one. Number two, the NFL and the Super Bowl is an event, and this is multiple days. So you have a worldwide event, whereas regardless of who's playing in the Super Bowl, people are going to the Super Bowl. People are already booking now. We do have Super Bowl tickets. We actually have a Super Bowl package that we make available right now. Now, bringing it over to baseball, it's a 7-game series. There's 4 potential games in LA. There's 3 potential games in New York. The games in New York, there's 3 Super Bowls, 3 different days. These are literally Super Bowl numbers, right? These are Super Bowl numbers that are out there right now. So as far as comparing a national event or a worldwide event, the Super Bowl is a worldwide event.
Oh, yeah.
People don't care if the Vikings or if the Jets are playing, it doesn't matter who's playing in the Super Bowl. People go to the Super Bowl.
Well, let's put it this way. If the Jets ever made it, Vinny, if the Jets ever made it to the Super Bowl, first of all, my wife would have to take me to the hospital because I'd pass out. Number 2, I think that would, without question, set a record for the biggest Super Bowl ticket if the Jets ever got there.
Yes, I would have to agree with that. And that was my next point. My next point is it's all about markets, right? So when you talk about this market and this matchup, although, and Wiz, I'll lean on you for this one. How long have the Dodgers been in LA now?
The Dodgers have been in LA since 1959, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But keep in mind that although the Dodgers have been in LA since 59, this rivalry is a storied rivalry, the Dodgers versus the Yankees. My father-in-law's best friend, his name is Jimmy, and I'll give a shout out to Jimmy in case he's watching. But Jimmy told me that he grew up, he's in his 80s now, and Jimmy grew up a Dodgers fan and said to me that the New York Yankees ruined his childhood. That's what he said to me. So I said, Jim, it's been 60 years. At some point, you have to give it up, Do a little bit of therapy, get some work done, and give up the angst of saying the Yankees ruined your childhood. But the reason I bring that up is if you were to say, give me the biggest matchup for a World Series this year, what 2 teams would you pick?
It would be the Yankees and the Dodgers. It almost feels like people are in and around the MLB is wanting that to be a massive matchup since they last met in 1981.
Yeah, it
Right.
it is the ideal matchup between 2 teams, right? The New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
That was my first World Series game I ever went to. My dad, my uncle's company had tickets, and me and my dad went to Game 1 of the 1977 World Series, Yankees and Dodgers, and that was unbelievable. And you're right. When you think about the ticket prices, especially for those who can handle it, and maybe there's people who have never been to a World Series game. I have been many times, so it's not. I'm not going to say it's not a big deal, but yeah, it is. But I can understand where people will want to create those memories that they may not get a chance to do otherwise. It is an incredible rivalry. I think it's an underrated sports rivalry when it comes to when you bounce all these other different rivalries around. Yankees and Dodgers, it has a magic to it.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Peter. 1977. I think you were born in what? 69.
67. I was 10 years old.
So let me ask you this. Do you have vivid memories of that experience from when you were 10 years old?
100%. So I will tell you, and I already warned Tony that we're going to need a few minutes of overtime because I knew the show was so action-packed. And by the way, if you're looking, this is not beer. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show. This is Dr. Brown's Celery. It's a whole backstory. I'll fill you another time. I had to have Tony do a taste test. So for everyone who's just tuning in, it's not beer. It's Dr. Brown's Celery soda. So I want to make sure you know I'm not drinking on the job. But yes, Game 1, 77. Me and my dad go to Yankee Stadium. My uncle went as well. My uncle picks me up in Queens. We meet my father in the Bronx outside of Yankee Stadium. My dad worked in the Garment Center at that time, so he came right from work. Me and him sat fair territory, first row, inside the left field foul pole, loge level, first row, and Roy White Paul Blair singles in Roy White with the game-winning run in extra innings, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. What I also remember is that because my dad was a cutter in the garment industry, and this could never happen now with security and everything, but my dad always had a knife in his pocket that he used for work, like a cutter's pocket knife. So, they have the bunting that they put around the stadium on the lower level.
White and blue.
Right, the red, white, and blue. So my dad says, I already had a program and everything. How would you like a real good World Series souvenir? I said, what are you talking about? He goes, we're going to take home a piece of the bunting. I said, what are you doing? He takes out his knife, and he goes and he cuts the string of the bunting and wraps it up, sticks it in his pocket. We go home with it. I've got this bunting. Now, it's kind of like there's a joke. What did the rabbi say after he got a hole-in-one on Yom Kippur? Well, you can't say anything because you can't tell anybody. How do you tell somebody that you took the bunting home from Yankee Stadium? So the bunting sat in a box in our apartment in Forest Hills, Queens, for the whole time till we moved to Long Island in November of '79. So 2 years, almost a little more than 2 years later, we moved to Long Island. Somehow in the move, that bunting disappeared. I don't know where it went. But again, it's not like you could show it to anybody because, you stole the bunting from Yankee Stadium.
Right. So every time you hear a knock at the door, you're like, hide the bunting.
It was stuck in a. I have no idea what happened to it.
Yeah. So absolutely, you're exactly the story that you just told, right?
Yeah.
Here we are 40 years later. And as you're telling this story, Peter, I could see the gleam in your eye. I could see that you're making reference to this bright moment in your life. And that's what our company is really all about. And I know the numbers are stupid, right? And I know the prices are expensive. I don't claim that it's a great price, right? I do make the claim that although the prices are high, we will always be a little bit less. Number one. And more importantly, you're dealing with a licensed ticket agency. Number two, you're going to get the best price. You're dealing with a reputable licensed ticket company where you can reach out to and speak to an individual about your options, your choices, and what you'd like to do. And more important than everything is the experience that we provide to the consumer, to the son, to the father, to the friend, to the business associate. It's all about the experience. And that's what we're about, is providing that experience at a lower price to the consumer.
100%. Vinny, thanks for spending a few minutes. We got to get to Stump the Wiz. He got stumped last week. We're going to see if we get stump him again this week.
Sounds good. Wiz, good luck.
Thanks.
Tony, thanks for everything. And Peter, seriously, thank you very much for the assist on the plug today.
No problem. I'm sure the check is in the mail, right?
There you go. Yes. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Yankees. Vinny tickets from ticketbash.com. Let me quickly, because I want to close the show with Stump the Wiz, Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on Sports Bash Media's X/Twitter page. Today's question, what is your prediction for the World Series? Yankees in 4 or 5, Yankees in 6 or 7, Dodgers in 4 or 5, Dodgers in 6 or 7. Let me go around the room. Tony, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm going to go Yankees in 6.
Yankees in 6. Wiz?
Dodgers in 6.
Dodgers in 6. I am going to do what's called negative karma because, of course, I want the Yankees to win. But sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to go Dodgers in 6 only because I want to be wrong. And I'm usually wrong with predictions. So I'll say Dodgers in 6 with the hopes that it's Yankees in 4 or 5 and that they can celebrate a World Series championship on their home field.
Yankees in 4 or 5, that's a little bold.
Well, no, I'm not. That's not my prediction. I would like it to be that. I'm going Dodgers in 6 because I want to be wrong. I don't care if it's Yankees in 19. As long as the Yankees win the series. I know that was kind of stupid what I just said.
Well, the World Series did have 9 games back in the day. So.
Yeah, it did. Quick, this week in sports history.
Okay, this week in sports history, we're all talking about this year's World Series, but let's not forget about last year's World Series between the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Both of those teams that last year, this week, beat the Astros and the Phillies, respectively. Mind you, both those series in the CSs were 3-2 Astros-Phillies, so we were very close to having a rematch of the previous series, World Series. That was not to be. In Game 7, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks advanced, and unfortunately for a lot of people, I spoke with many D-backs, Rangers fans, they kind of felt so much of it was, the ratings weren't the best. Well, it's the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. But fortunately for the Rangers, they were the oldest professional sports team in America that did not win a championship. They finally won it against the D-backs. It was easy 5-game series for them. They won every single game on the road throughout the entire playoffs. Bruce Bochy getting his 4th championship and Corey Seager getting his 2nd World Series MVP.
Okay, good job on that. That was Wiz Kid Vinny Laspinuzzo with this week. We used to, on the old show, it was this day in sports history. Now it's this week because Wiz is with us once a week. It is now time to play Stump the Wiz. Okay. And what we do, if you're new to the show, we do this. We used to do it on Wednesdays on the old show. Now we're doing it Thursdays here on the new show with Governors. We ask you to submit your best sports trivia questions to the Sports Bash X/Twitter, however you want to call it these days, Facebook and Instagram pages. Send it privately. Don't put it out in public because you don't want this guy seeing it. Then he gets the answer, and then, we get accused of having a fraudulent contest on them. We don't need any more legal trouble than we would want. Not that we won't want any legal trouble, but no, we don't want any legal trouble. If we select your question and you stump the Wiz, you'll win 2 tickets to see the Islanders and Ducks on October 29th at UBS Arena, courtesy of Ticketbash.com. By the way, the other day, Tony was, last week he was upset that he couldn't go to the Islander game because you had to produce Hershey.
2 days ago.
2 days ago, right. So I covered the Red Wings game, and I know you were upset about it, but you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, that's
true.
You
didn't really miss anything. But hopefully the Islanders score some goals on October 29th at UBS Arena, and those tickets are courtesy of Ticketbash.com. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Tony's going to have 2 minutes on the clock, and I will tell him when to start. And here is the question. Of course, the 2024 World Series pits the Yankees and the Dodgers in a back-to-the-future type of World Series, right? And by the way, I brought that up on purpose. My wife Cheryl bought me this great Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time. And
Robert Zemeckis, such an icon of a director.
Yeah, it's a trend. I loved all 3 of them, and my wife bought me this brand new, beautiful Back to the Future T-shirt, which is apropos for Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series. So 2024 World Series will pit the presumed MVPs, Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers, Aaron Judge for the Yankees. Here is the question. What was the last World Series to pit what would be MVP versus MVP? Give me the year, give me the 2 teams, give me the 2 players. We have 2 minutes on the clock. Tony Walker is ready to go. 2 minutes, and away we go.
Trying to think right here.
We're looking for the last World Series that pitted the eventual MVP versus MVP. We need the year, we need the teams, and we need the players.
MVP versus MVP. I have a feeling it has something to do with the Dodgers and Yankees again. Just making that assumption.
You know what happens when you assume, Wiz?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so don't always assume.
Probably, I know it could not have happened recently. I know that. We've had instances where it's just one, but nothing really more than that.
I'm going to finish drinking my celery.
This feels like it's a 1980s sort of a thing. I think you had I'm going to say Mike Schmidt and George Breton in 1980 with the Royals and the Phillies.
That would be correct. Wow. Good job by Wiz this week. The way you started out, because usually we can get a feel of these things, the way I thought it was going to give you some trouble. But nice effect there from Tony with the applause. We didn't have that at the old place.
I just had a feeling that, I was thinking that and I remember 1980, there's that image, the 2 iconic third basemen in both of their areas, the one in the AL for George Brett and the one in the NL for Mike Schmidt. These 2 were often seen as who was the best one in all the majors, and they duked it out. Phillies won, actually, that was their first ever World Series in their entire history.
Yeah.
But don't worry, the Royals would eventually have the World Series one of their own shortly thereafter against their in-state rival, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well done. Well done this week.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So you're now. Are we carrying over the record from the previous show, or are we starting fresh with the new show?
I'm fine with whatever.
Okay, so I don't remember what the numbers were
1
at
and
the
1.
old place.
1 and 1.
So you're 1-1 here at the new place.
Okay,
which
sounds
is good.
good.
So you're batting 500. That's good. I want to tell everybody before we say goodbye for the day, and we thank Tony for allowing us to go a few minutes long because it was such an unbelievable show today. Some upcoming shows that we want to tell everybody about. Just booked this today. November 12th, we're going to be joined by Terrence Toe from a company called FE Apparel, FE-Apparel, and they have a brand new line of NHL Legends of the Game bomber jackets that they are going to show us here that day. We'll have him on Zoom, and he's going to show off. We'll have some photos. We'll have some in-studio samples for they're unbelievably nice. They sent me an Islanders jacket, sweatshirt, hoodie. It didn't fit, so I gave it to my son Jared, and he modeled it for me. But we're hopefully going to get some other items on the show on November 12th. It's going to be a great time. Former Islander forward Steve Webb. We're still working out the date. We don't have the date just yet, but former Islander forward Steve Webb is going to be in studio with us for an entire show. And he is going to be talking about his time with the Islanders. We'll talk about the current Islanders. And he's also going to talk about the work he does with the Team Up for Community Foundation. They promote social responsibility and community give back through athletics. That is coming up at some point. We'll give you the date. Stay tuned to the shows and our social medias, and we'll tell you when that's coming up. On Monday, we're covering two big events on Monday. Me and Wiz are going to Long Island Nets Media Day on Monday morning at Nassau Coliseum. It is Monday morning, 10 o'clock, I told you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We're going to go to Long Island Nets Media Day at Nassau Coliseum. We'll get some sound and some interviews with the Long Island Nets coach and some players, and we'll put a little package together for Tuesday's show next week. Also, on Monday night, I am going to be going to the Encourage Kids Foundation event called Serving Up Smiles at Chelsea Piers. I'm going to go, and I'm going to bring my phone all charged up so I can watch the World Series game while I'm there. And there'll be some notable former NFL players. Tony Richardson, Leonard Marshall, Eric Coleman, Otis Anderson, Marvin Washington are all going to be there. It's a great event with celebrity chefs and lots of good eats and everything. Not that I can bring any food back in for everybody, but we'll get some video and we'll do a little something on the show on Tuesday. And I think that's a wrap. Did you have fun today?
Oh, I had a lot of
Tony,
I had a
did you have
blast.
fun today producing?
Absolutely, pal.
Did you enjoy the celery?
Yes.
Well, you had to do that. So tying up loose ends from your show the other day. That will do it for this edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Thanks to my guests on the show, Jimmy O'Brien from Jomboy Media, Stony Brook head football coach Billy Cosh, and of course the big boss man, the CEO of TicketBash.com, Vinny Tickets, to talk World Series tickets with us. Thanks to Wiz, thanks to Tony Walker, and everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Sports Bash is presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, by Bearcat Billing Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and by Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew, this is Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching. Sports Bash is back Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody. Just want to say, let's go Yankees. Let's go Bradley and Westcon football on Saturday. Let's get to 6-1. And let's go to my son Jared coaching his LSU flag football team on Sunday. Good luck to everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday, everybody.